What's good, everybody? I'm going to get into another collective reading. Um, Trying to figure out an angle that works because the sun is really bright. It is very hot. Um, Seeing what's up with my blackout curtain, it's still a little bit glary, but we're doing it anyway. And today we're sipping on green juice, partly because it's moon time, but you know, the nutrients, they're needed. And I'm also burning a green sage candle. So I think I'm gonna try doing the whole reading on cam this time. Uh, I don't know, just see if it changes anything for the algorithm. And I guess this is a good point for me to remind you that if you have watched any of the readings, if they resonated in any way, please like, subscribe, share, comment, especially comment. I would really like to engage with you guys. I know the channel is relatively new, but I do want to be doing more of this. I feel called to be doing more of this, um, even though some parts of being on camera and being visible like this go against areas in which I feel comfortable, but um, these are not days for comfort. These are days for shaking things up in some way, restructuring. Yeah, the I guess I'm getting a message initially about kind of efficiency, a need for efficiency, and that's coming in hot with this. I believe it's Virgo, Mars moving into Virgo energy. Um, Virgo being like a very meticulous sign, meticulous, resourceful, and possibly it can be annoying. Can feel like perfectionism at times, but with the ultimate goal of just seeing things done in the most efficient way possible. And like, who doesn't want that, really, right? That's what we're striving for, and it feels like in this heat, this literal heat, that's part of what the pressure is. So, where am I going to start? I guess, okay. Yeah, let's start with the Kim Kranz Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. It's this one. I don't know if I'm going to try to shuffle like in the air or what. When I say in the air, like holding the cards up high. Um, the crystal that I have charging that right now is uh what is it called? Oh my god, Arfvedsonite. Yeah, there we go. So I'll put it maybe to the side over here. Okay. So Heavenly Father, Mother Earth, the deity of time, angels, ancestors, divine guides. What does the collective need to know at this point as we feel some sort of pressure to, um, when I say pressure, like push or just like it's at the forefront of the energy, the need to restructure things. What do we need to know? Last reading was about recalibrating your vision, and I think this is about taking practical steps toward that vision. So, what are some of the energies that we're having to contend with at this time, overall in the outer world, in the internal world? What are we being asked to clean up and be aware of, lean into? So, okay, the two cards that came out are the Mystic, came out pretty much upright, just slightly like this. So I'll take it as upright. And then this card here, the Seed, this came out kind of sideways. So I'll read it as being um, I guess, an energy that's both supporting and crossing us. Yeah, I'll read it in both light and shadow. I'm going to read the descriptions from the guidebook. What did I say I was going to do with these? Put these to the side over here. I guess I'll regularly reach back to them if anything comes up again. I'm feeling like this stone goes well with both this and this, which seem to be um, their eyes, right? Eyes on the foundation, eyes on the highest point, eyes on what's been built, eyes on what you're standing on before taking flight, I guess. Um, and I'm gonna say spiritual flight because this card is the Mystic. Card 21 could be paying attention to something that's going to be going on July 21st as we move into Leo season. Yes. Okay. And then, yeah, having antennas pointed towards this higher vision up here. Okay. 21, the Mystic. The Seeker, the Light Worker, the Dreamer. Pay attention to your dreams right now. The mystic is often misunderstood in our culture, depicted as a wandering or light-hearted daydreamer. Yet, like Shiva, the true mystic plays a critical role in society, remaining fearlessly dedicated to the path of transformation. In order to save the earth from darkness, Shiva swallows the poison of the world and holds it in his throat, slowly transmuting the liquid into nectar. This is the work of the mystic. They do not fear darkness, but rather sit in the presence of it, harness the potential and latent energy behind it, and embed it with light. They are patient and prudent change makers, seeking growth above all else. Unanswerable questions are the mystic's lifeblood. The mystic revels in the mystery, in the great riddle of life, dancing with forces of light and dark upon its wings. Yeah. And when in light, upright, that's the remover of darkness, a visionary, and ageless. And it may seem that the mystic is inward facing, yet its light beams back to the world with the strength of 1,000 stars. Like any light worker, the mystic must build a relationship with fire. This begins by awakening the inner flame, otherwise known as tapas within. Yeah. Um, yeah, Virgo looks at what's available as resources and what is the best that you can do with what is available. So this is talking about um, how to do something with the feelings of darkness that are overwhelming in the world right now, maintaining your light. Also, I would say in this darkness, the seed that has been planted to grow. What are you planting in terms of your spiritual being, your spiritual practices at this time? What are you doing to maintain them in times of darkness, and how do you stay balanced in a time when darkness really is I was going to say low key but high key overtaking the light in society, and it can feel that way internally as well, because as the seed there are like all of these layers of whatever is around that the seed is going to have to push through as it grows. This is number 64. Okay. And it was sideways. So I'm going to also mention the keywords from when it's in the dark position. 64. Excuse me. D6. VI, not IV. All right. The seed. The beginning, the origin, the pearl. And when in dark, it's festering, stewing, dormant. And when in light, it's generative, it's fertile, it's germinating, and it's building. That was one of the key words that I was talking about before, right? How to build with this foundation now that you've recalibrated your vision, and how to build with what's around you, how to imagine also new resources to build with. Um, and I'm going to show something that's from another deck at this point that I actually pulled yesterday, but the card is still right here on top. Interestingly, uh, it is literally the Virgo card, and that's about, you know, when you take things apart and snip things, snip off the, let's say, maybe rotting parts or whatever else maybe you may be dealing with, 1111 on the timer. Yeah, then how are you able to rearrange that into something beautiful and useful and new and inviting and welcoming, and I'm going to say also calming. There's something very calming about this image. I'm going to add it to this reading even though I'm not using that deck. That deck is called, what is that? That's the Spacious Tarot with the expansion cards. Okay, I'll put that here. So, the seed. Beginnings come in many forms. They are not always beautiful seed placed intentionally in nourishing soil. Origin stories, like any birth story, are complex, surprising, multi-layered, and usually reveal a central image or detail that represents the fully formed being. Simply stated, the end is present in the beginning, or the entire oak tree resides within the acorn. Whether you follow this imaginal theory or not, know that when this card appears, there is a potent generative energy around. It stirs your very insides and usually results in an antsy, impatient feeling. Pay particular attention to what agitates you, as it is a sure sign of growth to come. You are bumping up against a growth edge. It is from the grit that the pearl eventually comes to be. One of the alchemist's favorite images was the pearl. The irritant, over time, becomes the treasure. What is your grit? Yeah, so this is asking you to think about like what may be irritating you right now. What is and sometimes when you're irritated, that can also be like when your passion is stirred. Mars is a planet of passion, by the way. It's a planet of it's also known as a planet of like anger and of attack and of fighting, but it's a planet of determination, a planet of will. It's a very fiery energy. As we're looking toward Leo season. Um, but yeah, it's Virgo, being in Virgo, that's asking to be efficient with the way that passion and energy is used. Um, yeah, and with, again, what are you sort of like plucking from the darkness of the issues that have come up to use to build your new origin story, right? Okay, let's get some tarot. I'm going to be using yet another different version of Tarot of the Holy Spectrum right now. This is the Color Me edition, and I'm using this edition because, well, one, because it's black and white, and this is feeling like a time of, yeah, Virgo. Of course, Virgo is capable of acknowledging nuance, but Virgo sees things as either helpful or unhelpful in their lives right now, like worth putting energy toward or not worth putting energy toward. And that doesn't necessarily mean forever, but it definitely does mean right now. There's an awareness of it, and an awareness of needing to be efficient with your energy, especially in times when you feel surrounded by darkness, when there's just like heaviness in any way. when there's any level of overwhelm of emotions, you know, who knows if you're like crying randomly, that's something that's been going on for me, but that's a Cancer season thing. So um, vulnerability, let's go. Okay, so Heavenly Father, Mother Earth, Deity of Time, elevated ancestors, knowledge keepers. I'm going to keep this card that fell out. Um, knowledge keepers and guides, ancestors who worked with limited resources and built what we have today. We ask for your guidance at this time. What else do we need to know about these energies of the mystic and the seed? What else do we need to know about these energies of the mystic and the seed at this time for the collective? As we bump up against these rough edges, how is this related to our spirituality, our growth, our foundations, what we're bringing into the world? Okay. So, two things. Okay, the card that had flipped out first here is the Eight of Swords. Okay, the card that slipped out mid shuffle that I just sort of intuitively decided to keep. So, this card here is talking about feeling trapped mentally. Feeling trapped mentally, feeling like you maybe don't have the necessary resources at this time. Okay, based on being surrounded by darkness. But in this case here, and in this case especially spiritually, okay, some of the darkness, like you're being blindfolded possibly by some of the energy that's around, as well as some of the energy in your own mind of, feeling um, incapable of dealing with this energy. But as you can see here, these like whatever is wrapped around this person is, it's not wrapped very tight. Like it's pretty loose. Okay? And if they move even the slightest bit, like even the slightest bit, they would be able to get through that, or just take a couple steps toward one of these many swords around and just sort of slice that off, slice their hands, their arms free, then be able to remove the blindfold. Okay, this is talking about just being stuck in one place out of an assumption. It's like assumptions, your own assumptions, as well as some of the assumptions of the world about you, especially as a mystic. If you're somebody who um, has any type of spiritual gifts that you're trying to lean into, things that are trying to come forward for you, um, you know, so you're feeling like this when really there is a whole community of us. And this message is very much for myself also, because it's easy to feel alone at times like these, right? The next card that came out is the Three of Pentacles. Okay? And Pentacles is are very much about resources, about just practical steps, earthly, like earthly abundance, earthly well-being. This is also a card of celebration. Excuse me, did I say Three of Pentacles? My bad. I meant Three of Cups. So, yes, the emotional resources, um, subconscious resources, spiritual resources being available in community. Pentacles is a little bit more on the practical end, but still quite relevant. But I would say that when it comes to things of a more spiritual nature and also just our general motivation, um, having emotional support, especially when feeling stuck like this, is one of the most important things that we need, right? Let me just grab something here very quickly because I do believe that be something else related to this card, and I specifically want to take it from the same deck that this Virgo card came from. Okay, the Three of Cups. Community and network. Three of Cups welcomes you into a broader social circle. Each cup contributes something to the pool below. A reminder that life is a collective journey. What can you do to uplift not just yourself, but those in your network? And when we say network, I think in this case it's also talking about just in your general society, because as a mystic, as someone who's called toward a spiritual path in any way, you'll often be given sort of a little seed of something that you can then share with others. And it's like as you share it with others, then it's somehow like watered and continues to grow in you. Consider how you are currently affected by your circle, and in turn, how you are contributing to those around you. Your empathy may be heightened at this time, so ask how you can care for your own emotional energy while you continue to participate in togetherness. Yes, okay. So, in terms of Virgo energy, when it comes to how Virgo would approach emotion, it's about where can I invest this most efficiently in a way that will give back to me? In a way that will contribute toward my growth as well as those around me, because Virgo energy is very much about serving, and both these cards of the mystic talk about serving to bringing more light into the world around you. The seed is talking about the origins and how the darkness around that, like, it basically feeds your seed or gives you seeds from which to like create your origin story. Okay, so let us now move into one moment here. Yeah, let us now move into the closing deck that I'm going to use, which is going to be the Poesis Oracle. I've been really feeling this one lately. Oh, I forgot to mention the previous deck was being charged with this here, this green stone. It's an Amazonite crystal. Okay, heart-centered energy, feminine energy, emotional resources for both self and collective healing. And now this deck, I have this double terminated clear quartz point, Dalmatian jasper, and this Super 7, otherwise known as a melody stone. It's like 7 different stones in one. I would suggest looking this up. It's a pretty powerful stone. Okay. So we ask for some final messages to close out this reading for the collective as we figure out what this Mars going into Virgo energy is asking of us. And we thank you for your guidance so far throughout this reading. Okay, so one, two, three. Okay. Four? No, three. Okay. I was gonna start saying something. No time at all. Very interesting. Okay. Things that we're dealing with now in this darkness that's kind of surrounding and potentially confusing a lot of us, especially mystics. It's like a big test of faith, right? When you have that many things kind of coming to challenge you um, internally, externally, globally, energetically, astrologically. We're going through it, okay? So this is the vibe it's giving, right? Disillusion. Uh, and what's that? What that's asking of us, or what we're being forced to find as we go internally, as the pieces come apart. And I'm going to refer back to this card here. When the pieces come apart, rearranging them into something more efficient that can serve a purpose and something that's also beautiful, right? um, yeah, where this energy is leading us as we rearrange it, and especially as mystics, it's kind of forcing us to just to look up, to surrender, given, and look up, and have some sense of humility, understanding just the sheer magnitude of the forces that surround us, and also humility um, in knowing and understanding how important it is to work carefully, efficiently, as we choose to serve and as we long to serve with our gifts, because there's responsibility in there, right? Understanding that there's some level of higher power involved, and higher power also includes your higher self, by the way. So, you know, just not being too proud to ask for the help and the support, okay? And to give thanks also. There's an element of gratitude here, the way that these hands are placed, looking up at everything, all of these planets, all of these stars, all of these. Some of the things look like kind of random bits and bobs. So I'm going to say resources. And something else that's coming through, I don't know how or why, but this disillusionment, the way it sort of like, I guess you could say, shatters a mask, kind of allows you to see, it brings back just like the original face under that, your original face. I don't know if you want to look that up, what that even means, but yeah, because the final place that that is leading to and that we're all working toward is this place of joy. Okay? And I'm going to read all three of the poems actually. Starting with Disillusion. What a powerful image this is. Okay. Smash the mirrors and let the masks crumble to the floor. Such glass and porcelain decorations don't serve you anymore. It is okay to break, it is okay to shatter and shed. A soul is stirred out of its stiffness and undressed by naked love. The universe of cascading colors dissolves all outworn walls, only to reveal the dazzling of a truth that exists underneath them all. The universe of cascading colors dissolves all outworn walls, only to reveal the dazzling of a truth that exists underneath them all. The universe. That's what this original face after the mask cracks is looking up at, right? Humility. The earth dangles in the galaxy by impossibly perfect means. Spinning on invisible strings, it's held so precisely from the sun, so life can happen. A degree closer and earth would be fire, a degree further and earth would be ice. How can this possibly be? With so much miraculous mystery, why should I need to understand everything? I get up in the morning and kiss my own feet, knowing this is exactly the shape I need to be. This is the experience that belongs to me, and a force greater than my own changing mind of thought and desire lights the sky and moves the seas. Force greater than my own changing mind of thought and desire lights the sky and moves the seas. Okay. Ooh. Yeah. Virgo energy also asks to for some level of steadiness, right? Steadiness and reliability in terms of the way that you show up for yourself. That includes knowing when you need rest, when you need to take a break of some kind. But it also involves not being fully carried by thoughts of feeling trapped, not being fully carried away by any level of overwhelm and emotion that, kind of just like shatters your mind in a negative way. But do allow it to be shattered in the way of, just reveling in awe at mystery and I guess shedding the masks that and ways in which society expects you to pretend, especially if you're someone who has any type of mystic energy. Like that's part of Mars is also warrior energy. That's part of what this Virgo energy is asking you to kind of fight for in terms of where to efficiently put your energy. Like not wasting it on I'm going to say superficial things, being of course practical with your moves on Earth, um, but yeah, definitely incorporating some level of gratitude and praise for all that surrounds you, as even as you're in a place of darkness and just trying to grow whatever you're trying to grow from this little seed, allowing the own seeds of your soul actually to grow and expand within you and lead you to this place of joy, which is what I'm about to read next, the final card. Also, I just want to thank the universe, higher self, spirit, all of our ancestors and guides that popped in and showed up and showed out for this reading, um, to give us such a beautiful message, right? So joy. A cloud floats in the bright sky, it shape-shifts in the light breeze, it dances cheerfully with itself, it disappears. Laugh, bright spirit, it is so beautiful. Where the rain goes, a rainbow eventually follows. Celebrate, lustfully singing, in the reverie of an idle day. Delight is there to connect us. Without one worry more, open the radiant gift that has arrived. Okay? Delight is there to connect us. Without one worry more, open the radiant gift that has arrived. Okay. And this gift is going to come in a space of darkness. Yeah, these gifts are coming to us in a space of darkness. So remember to look up, remember to have humility. Okay. Don't be afraid of letting the mask fall off, because you will find the proper support. You have support from your guides, you have support from your community. You can always, also always reach out to me. Um, I'm available. I'm giving readings, personal readings, at reduced rates. I may even do a couple for free, so definitely reach out to me if that's something that you're open to. And in the meantime, dear fellow mystics, anybody who is walking on a spiritual path, please, please, please do not be discouraged right now. There's just so much to wonder and like marvel at the beauty of. Okay. All right, let's get back into our space of joy. Let's get back into our space of fun. Um, we're fighting at this point to be more efficient. We're passionate about being efficient with where we put our energy because our joy is precious. And this is what we want to cultivate more of. And we're looking at, um, cutting away and rearranging things in our lives, in the world around us, so that collectively we can get back to this. All right? Much love to y'all. I'll talk to you soon.